Greetings YouTube. Today we're taking a look at a Kerye folding saw. Now I picked this up on a lark. I saw it advertised on Amazon. It comes in a very fancy box and it comes in a little faux velvet pouch. And I picked this up because I thought that it was kind of an intriguing little looking device. It was a folding saw that is being advertised as a Japanese flush cutting saw. So it is essentially a classic balisong design, and it's a flush cutting saw. It's got the flush cutting flexibility, it's got the Japanese pull style teeth on it. Construction isn't what I'd call the greatest in the universe. I paid 20 bucks for this. There is a lot of movement in every direction on this thing. Just locking this in place takes you like kind of have to line it up to get it to close. When it is closed and it's been properly locked, make sure I give it any chance of succeeding. There's a lot of slop. Now, the purpose I picked this up for is I thought, well, kind of neat looking. But if somebody wanted to take a Japanese style saw with them to a job site in a toolbox, I thought, well, this is a good way of doing it. It's safe for the user and it's safe for the teeth. So you're folding it up, taking out when you need it, and you put it back when you don't need it. Pretty simple. Now, I've never cut with this saw ever before, so we're about to give that a first shot. And I got a line on this piece of wood. This is a 2x4. This is far thicker than you're probably ever supposed to cut with this thing, but I actually have to cut this thing for something else. So let's see how it works. Well, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Let's try the finer size. Now you can definitely feel the difference in how aggressive the teeth are. They're far more. I'm getting much less out of the bottom of it. And the teeth definitely are, currently at least, they currently are sharp. You can feel it when you catch it on your fingertip. Yeah, I was trying to minimize my blowout on that one, even though this is just going to end up being a spacing block or something. The cut, I've got to be honest, it's not a bad cut. It really isn't. I mean, it's not the best I've ever seen. I've got better quality Japanese pull saws, but it isn't horrible. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know the quality of the steel on this thing. Interestingly, they have a hook here for hanging it because I can't imagine this being something you keep in your shop. You know what I mean? Like, this is your go-to Japanese pull saw. I don't know. There are better versions out there you can get that are, permanent design. The big seller for me for this is that it folds up and that you can take it with you to a job site in a container. I can't imagine someone's going to carry this on their person. What I mean, I get to a site, you might throw it into a pouch, a belt pouch, or a pocket or something. If you knew you might have to make small cuts. And it didn't make bad work of a 2x4, which is much, considerably much more wood than you're probably ever going to ever use. Now, what's interesting is that this is the side I just cut, and this side is what I cut. I can't even remember how long ago, and I cut this with what is it? cut this thing with? I cut this with a Marbles model Japanese pull saw, and the cut is significantly different. The Marbles the Marpulls. Yeah, sorry, Marples did a much better job than this Kerye's did. But for something that you can take with you, that's going to take up very little space. I mean, it's not a heck of a lot bigger than my hand. This isn't terrible. Now, again, I cannot imagine this is going to be everyone's go-to saw, and there may be better versions of this type of saw out there in the market. I don't know. I have not done any research for folding Japanese-style saws. This popped up in the algorithm had this pop up in something I might want to look at it. And we're correct. I did in fact want to look at it, but it's not a terrible cut. It's not as well as the dedicated Marples. Did a much better cut the last time I cut one of these things for something, and I don't remember when or what that was for. But this is just going to end up being a block for something I'm building, a spacing block. So I don't care how straight the cut is, because at the moment I didn't do very well. It isn't particularly straight, but like I said, it's a spacing block. So overall, not terrible. The packaging is kind of over the top in my book for something that is not the greatest quality in the universe. It's put together with, interestingly, these are hex. These are not star drive. These are hex screws that are putting this together. So hex screws, so you could, technically the plates come, the scales come off, though I don't know why you want to do that. And it is put together with hex machine screws and nuts, so this is very primitively put together. I mean, like, these are not even finished. These are not even Chicago bolts or anything. The nuts are here and the bolts are here, so you could adjust the tension if you wanted to. It does have a little ball bearing retention here for the lock, so that's a nice touch. But yeah, for 20 bucks, this could be something that some people might find a use for. This is not going to be something that I find a great deal of use for. In fact, I'm probably going to clean this up and pass it on to somebody, because I don't really think I'm ever going to have a need for this thing. Clean it up, maybe put it back in a container and send it on to somebody else. But overall, not a bad tool. It does its job. It didn't break and didn't cut me, it didn't hurt me. So, that's better than a success than I've had with some tools I've purchased over the years.